morning to you all. My name is Dickens A M and welcome to this presentation. In this presentation, we are going to take a step-to-step process of fingerprint development as a form of latent evidence. Just to prepare you for the presentation is some points in this video may appear silent because I will be processing the fingerprints from different pieces of evidence items, and you will be welcome to watch, but there may be no sound back. So welcome, and let's do this together. To begin, I'm going to focus on my safety. So I'll begin by putting on a mask. Second to this, I'm going to have my gloves on, and the purpose of this glove is to, one, protect me as I process the evidence, and secondly is to protect the evidence in the sense that I will not be able to introduce my fingerprints to the evidence as I process the evidence. What are we going to use? We are going to use this magnetic latent print powder. I'm going to have some open jar which I'm going to use with a powder. I have this standard powder applicator which I'll be using to brush the powder, and I have this tape with me which I will use to lift the fingerprints after development. In the pieces of evidence that we have, the first item is this flask which has some fingerprints on the side which we will be developing and lifting. It is a non-porous material made of stainless steel and painted white. Our second piece of evidence is going to be this cup. It is a porcelain mug painted white, and I expect some fingerprints on the side too. Our third piece of evidence is this plastic packaging for a household laundry detergent. We expect some fingerprints from the side which could have arisen from handling, and these pieces of evidence are critical in the forensic analysis of this suspected homicide case that we will be handling together. So welcome as we start the process. We are beginning by preparing our reagents, that is the powder. So this is the stock solution, the stock container of the powder. So I'm going to put some little bit in this open jar, and that should be enough for us to process the evidence that we need. I'm going to have my brush ready, and the first piece of evidence that we will be brushing. So I'll pick the much I need, then I'll try to remove the excess. Then in trying to brush, I'm trying to make sure that only the powder touches the print, but not the brush itself. As you can see, my print is developing quite well. So I'm going to try to brush to remove the excess powder. Very nice. As you can see, I have my latent print developed. So at this point, I'm going to take a photograph of this before I use my tape to lift it. After taking the photograph, I'm going to use the tape and carefully, without introducing any print to it, I'm going to lay it over the developed print and make sure the edge is folded to make it easy for me to lift it. I'll apply gentle pressure on it to ensure maximum lift. And at this point, I'm going to make sure my index card is ready. Here is it. Then I'm going to lift this gently. Place it on my index card. And as you can see, this has more of the excess powder, so I'm going to try a second lift to see if I'm going to get some better print. second lift. Good. And I'm going to put this also in so we have this as our second lift and we have this as our first lift. So immediately I'm going to label this with a date today being the 12th. The crime is a suspected homicide. The case number we are working with is case number 21 of 035. The victim name for this case is Mr. Tom Jerry. This incident was reported to have taken place on address this. And I'll describe the location of this fingerprint. So it has been developed from the outer side of the white flask being item 1. And this has been done by me, Dickens. And my ID number is 50029. So a brief description of this, having labeled the first. This is the first lift. Which is one inverted latent print developed from the outer side of the flask being item 1. So this is my label and this is my print of the first lift. So this is my print of the second lift, and this is the label for the second lift. So I'll go ahead to process and develop the prints for the second item of evidence being a mug. We'll repeat the same process with my brush. I'm going to pick the powder, try to release the excess, then gently brush it in a uniform manner. Along the mug. I'll try to brush it all around just to see if there are also other prints deposited on the other sides. And having done that, I can realize there are only prints on this section of the mug. So I'm going to have a focus in this section that I already can visualize prints developing in the same uniform manner. try to remove the excess just as we did in the first case, but this has to be done with caution to ensure at no point do I have the brush in contact with the print, because that would destroy the very necessary print that we are looking for. Looking at this, we have developed two prints from the side, and at this point I'm going to take a photograph the first photograph is a close-up photo of the bag with the two prints. Then I'll try to take another photo of each print individually. Good. Having done that, the next process is going to lift these prints. I'm going to lift each print individually. They are quite close to each other, but I'm going to try to lift each individually and label each individually. Just as in the other case, I will fold the tape just to ensure I'm not introducing my fingerprints to it. I apply a firm uniform pressure just ensure the print are left on the tape. Then now, with my index cards ready, I'm going to go ahead and lift this. The first print, this is our first print. Immediately I've finished lifting it, I'm going to go ahead to label it. This is from item 2, and it is the first lift of the upper print. Well labeled, and this is the print. So in the second index card, I'm going to lift the second print, and I'm going to have all that also on our index card. these two, just like the first one. I'm going to label, just like I labeled the first one. I'm going to label this as with a date, the case, which we have as 21/035, and with all labeled properly, I'm going to have those two also ready. So I'll move ahead to process the third print, and this is on this plastic container, and I will proceed by brushing over it in a uniform manner to develop the prints. So I'll have my brush and my magnetic powder, then in a uniform manner I'm going to brush over it. I'll try to do this all over with a keen interest on any potential prints on it. And just as I said earlier, we don't rule out any part of the piece of evidence that would lack the print. So we do a general brush all over to see anywhere that we have prints developing. And having done that, we can realize that I already have fingerprints or latent print developing on this unlabeled side of this packaging container. So I will try to focus on that area to just ensure that I get a maximum of the prints I'm looking for. I'll now come back to try and remove any excess. Remember, I will try to remove all the excesses so that it will make my final print as clear as it is possible. Having done that, we are now done with brushing, and to avoid further contamination or spillage of our powder, I'm going to put it in a safe place aside and now focus on the fingerprint that we have developed. So I can notice two adjacent prints. So just like in the first and the second case, the first thing I'm going to do is to take a photo of this adjacent print. The first photo being a close-up photo of the entire item with the prints on it. Then I will secondly try to take another photo of each fingerprint item individually. Good. Having done that, the next process is going to try and lift these prints, and these two I'm going to do each side of the print individually. So I'll begin with the one that is on the lower side of the container. And just to avoid destroying the other print as I lift the first one, I prefer to put my tape on it to go ahead and cut a generous piece that would be enough to lift this print, because apparently it looks like it's from the same finger, and I try not to introduce gas or air into it. I will apply pressure, a uniform pressure onto this, and have my cards ready. So as I lift the first print, I will put it very nice, very nice. As you can see, I have my printer, the latent print on my index card. So I'm going to go ahead and label, because remember, labeling is the key thing. So this is from the lower side, and I will label it as you can see. So I'll go ahead and lift the second print onto another index card. Gently. Good. These has also been lifted from the other side. So I will proceed to label this, because remember, labeling is key. So we begin by today's date, which is the 10th of December 2025. The crime is a suspected homicide, and this case is the case number 21035. The victim is Mr. Tom Jerry. I'll label it with the address. The location of the print is from the item number 3, and my name as the person who has lifted it is Dickens A M, and my number is 529. With all this done and ready, we'll proceed now to package this important piece of evidence that we have gathered. So remember, we have to be very careful when packaging this to ensure that there is no contamination and there is no loss or damage to the print. So we are going to package each individually into its own envelope, which I have here with me. So remember, we've gathered quite a number of evidence. To be precise, there are 6. So we are going to label each envelope and package on its own. So this is our first package. The index card, I confirm it has a latent print on it, and it's well labeled with a brief description. So I'll put it in its envelope. Okay. Then I'm going to seal this envelope. Ensure there is no opening left. Good. Then I'm going to go ahead and label the envelope, and there are items that has to be on this, and this is gonna be the case number, the date, the time of collection. I'm going to give a brief description of this evidence inside. We are going to have this as item number 1. We're going to have the location, we're going to have my name as the person who has lifted the prints, and I'm going to just have in my ID number. So these are the parameters I'm going to have in the front of my envelope as it is. So I'm going to turn it to seal it. Send the seal across on the upper side and the lower side of the opening. I'm going to have my initials. I'm going to have my ID number across that too. This is just to ensure there is no tamper to the important piece of evidence that is in. Then I'm going to have today's date. And I prefer to have the item number next to the seal too. With this done, I'm going to go ahead and seal this with a tamper-proof tape, just to ensure there is no tamper. And in placing the tape, I ensure it covers both the upper part and the close, and it all covers the envelope sealed properly. So this is done, well sealed and well labeled. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat this with all the other evidence. Then once done, and I have this ready, all my evidence packaged and sealed appropriately, I'm going to establish the chain of custody. Then I'm going to log all these evidence in my report and ready for storage. Thank you so much. Thank you for the session.